Doc on the Run. We help injured runners run.
Cannot run with a sesamoid injury. Well, this is a question I got from somebody on Twitter, and this is a big question because you can do anything you want. You just have to be willing to pay the consequences. So the truth is that sesamoid injuries are one of the worst injuries possible for a runner because it's extremely difficult to not make them worse if you continue running. So whether or not you can run with a sesamoid injury really depends on your risk tolerance and whether or not you can figure out a way to get the stress applied to that sesamoid bone that's injured. If you can get the stress down below your threshold for healing while you're continuing to run, technically, yes, you should be able to continue running on it. But that's very difficult to do. So the sesamoid bones, they sit right under the head of the first metatarsal bone at the base of the big toe joint. When you stand on them, you're basically applying about 50% of your weight to these two little bones that are the size of kidney beans. So they're very small, so there's an enormous amount of pressure going through the sesamoid bones when you're standing, walking, or running. So if you think about it, you've got to figure out some way to take all the pressure off those bones and not irritate them if you're going to continue to run. It's very difficult to do. So that's a very risky game because if you are applying stress to the sesamoids and you're continuing to make them worse, the condition will continue to degenerate, and there's no easy way to fix those. Now, some things are easy to fix. If you break a metatarsal, in most cases, we can put it back together for you surgically. I'm not telling you it's a good idea to have surgery. I'm just saying that if we can fix it and you can still run, that's much better than saying we don't have a way to fix it at all. And the sesamoids, if you crack that thing apart into multiple pieces, there's no way for us to really go back in and surgically repair it and make it work like it did before. And so that's why you have to take it really seriously. So if you're running and you continue to have aching, pain, swelling, bruising, any of that stuff in the ball of your foot when you're running, you should probably back off. So you have to be extremely cautious with this, and you've got to talk to your doctor and figure out if there's any way you can actually take the stress off enough that you can lower your threshold for healing and continue to heal the thing while you're still running. It's very, very difficult to do. I have seen runners who've done it. I've had runners that have, one guy placed second in an Ironman 70.3 with sesamoiditis, but he did a lot of stuff to reduce the stress of that bone, and in his case it worked. But there is no absolute for anybody. Just because it worked for him doesn't mean it's going to work for you. And just because it doesn't work for you doesn't mean it might work for somebody else. But you have to be very thoughtful about this because it's a very risky game when you're messing around with the sesamoids and running.
Doc on the Run. We help injured runners run.